Hi, and thanks for joining us here at Rose Quartz Mediumship for the December 2023 Tarot Message. Today we are going to be using 3 decks. We are going to be using the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. I love this one. The Moonology deck. And then the Light Seer Tarot. So we're going to pull a couple cards from a couple different decks, and we'll see what the messages are that want to come through for us in the month of December 2023. This is our last tarot message or reading for this year. We've really loved having you with us here on YouTube, and hopefully you have enjoyed the tarot message as well as the energy or metaphysical messages that come out monthly. All right, so we got one jumpy card. We got multiple cards in the reverse position. Every reader is a little bit different with how they read the reverse position. For me, I always typically look at, well, first of all, I go with whatever intuitively wants to come out of me regarding the card. But I will say that most often I read them as resistance to. So you're going to hear that in the message today. And yet another reverse card. So far, all of our cards are in the reverse position. We'll see what happens with this last one. I do always read the Mystical Shaman Oracle card because the messages are so long and juicy. I will say that there was a card that really jumped out at me. We'll see if it comes back around. Oftentimes that happens. A card will kind of come back around, and it is not the one that I had seen that was popping out. Let's see if I can find the one. If it doesn't want to be found, it won't be found. There it is. It did want to be found. It was the second card. So I will actually read both of those to you guys today. All right, so we're going to start at looking at the fact that we have multiple cards in the reverse position, which again for me is resistance to. So I'm going to flip them around, and then I'm going to read them with that reverse kind of twist on it of resistance to. So as we head into December of 2023, you may feel a bit of fear around money. And again, this was in the reverse position. So the message really is that there is enough there. If you feel like you don't have enough money, the money is going to be there. And if you feel like you have extra abundance, this is a really beautiful time to give to others. It's pretty typical in the month of December, right? But this is a time where giving, if you have extra, look at small businesses, look at families, look at people in your reality who might need some support. And if you're somebody who's needing support, really release resistance to receiving. Right? So oftentimes if we are in a spot where we feel fear around money, there's resistance to receiving. So work on receiving compliments, work on receiving gifts, work on receiving love, various different ways of receiving. All right, 10 of Cups. Oh, such a happy, beautiful card. So in the month of December, we are going to have a really full, beautiful, loving time. What I will say that I'm feeling with this card, again, it was in the reverse position originally. So what I'm feeling here is that there might be some resistance, whether this be family of origin or whether it be people in your reality. It might feel overwhelming, the number of people that you are needing to be in contact with in the month of December. Again, this is a month where we see a lot of celebrating for a lot of families. And so just be really mindful to ground yourself as you move through the month of December. The Ten of Cups is just such a beautiful card, loving and happy, but sometimes it can be overwhelming to be around so much love, right? And so just be really mindful to carve out enough time for you, for your personal care, for your self-care routine, whether you are somebody who has a family that you're supporting also, make sure that you're supporting that within your family. And then make sure that you are taking the time that you need to ground before going into any sort of social environment, whether that be a play at school, whether that be a family function, whether that be a party, whether that be a work event. Just make sure you take a couple moments, do some deep breathing, do some grounding, consider using grounding essential oils, take your socks and shoes off, put your bare feet on the earth, even for a couple of moments. And if you find yourself overwhelmed in a social situation, take some deep breaths. A fabulous trick is to go to the bathroom even if you don't need to. So bathrooms are a small space that we can oftentimes reset our energy in. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling ungrounded, pause, go to the restroom. You can turn the sink on, put your hands underneath the water and picture energy kind of draining off of your hands down the drain, and really allow yourself to come to a place of centered groundedness inside of yourself before you re-enter the social environment. We might have some anxiety in the month of December. Again, it kind of goes into that message that I was just talking about with the month of December can be really overwhelming with all of the events that we need to get to. So we might be feeling some depression, we might be feeling some anxiety, we actually might be feeling really ungrounded and interpret that as anxiety or depression. So just a reminder to ground in the month of December. Make sure that you have a really solid grounding practice in place. If you don't know what I mean by grounding, reach out to us. We'd love to send you some materials on grounding to make sure that you have a grounding practice that's going to support you in the month of December. All right, same kind of message. We got the Three of Cups, which is just such a beautiful card about connection, friendship, belonging. And it's in the reverse position. So it might feel overwhelming in the month of December for all of the social events that we have going on. Sometimes when you look at your calendar in the month of December, you can wonder, where am I even going to breathe? Where am I going to take a second to breathe? And so this card is just a really beautiful reminder that this connection and belonging is really what creates healing in our life. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed by the volume of connection that you have on your calendar, take some deep breaths, look if there's things that can be shifted. If not, ground through it, have some gratitude through it, and recognize that it's in connection and in finding a sense of belonging in community that we heal. And so as overwhelming as it can feel sometimes to have a lot of social events and a lot of connection, it's also really healing at the end of the day to have people who we are connected to. The Shadow card, again, was in the reverse position. So every single card came out in the reverse position out of the Light Seer Tarot deck. So some resistance too. For me, I'm really feeling the Empress in the reverse position. I'm really feeling the reminder for self-care and being, right? This card reminds us to take care of ourselves, to nurture ourselves. It's in the reverse position, so it says to me that we might forget our self-care practice. And so I feel like at this point in time, I might be preaching a little bit, but make sure that your self-care practice is on point. When you have moments where you can do or be, consider being. Consider laying and doing some deep breathing, considering yoga, consider meditation, consider art or some sort of creative flow. Sometimes it's a nap. Sometimes it's sitting with a cup of tea, staring out the window and gazing at the stars, gazing at the trees, gazing at nature, at the ocean, wherever you might be. But just consider self-care in the month of December. And when in doubt, go above and beyond with your self-care. Carve out more time for you than you think that you need, and it might make your December go incredibly smoothly. All right. And then the Moonology deck card was in reverse position as well. So conclusions are within reach is the card that we got, the Moonology card that we got. And what I'm really feeling with this is that we might feel, again, that overwhelmed feeling, that ungrounded feeling. And we might feel like I don't see the pathway for myself around a particular topic. Recognize that the conclusion really is there. The pathway really is there. Sometimes we just need to breathe and find a grounded place in order to see that pathway. And so whatever it is that you are working on in the month of December, recognize that the conclusion is there. There is direction available to you. Sometimes we just need to take a moment and allow the space and the quietness for that pathway to kind of show up and make itself clear and known to us. All right, so the last two cards of the deck I'm going to read to you. Again, this is the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. I'm going to read the one that actually popped out on its own first, and that is the Wind, which is a really beautiful card. Really beautiful card. Okay, I'm going to hold it up so that you guys can see the card. The Wind, the essence of this card. The symbol of the wind represents the element of air. It rules communication, thought, song, and inspired ideas. It also signifies change and qualities, both positive and negative. The wind blows from each of the four directions, and there are different qualities bestowed in each. When the wind is blowing from the south, carrying a new sense of trust, helping you gently begin to discard habits and parts of you that are no longer needed. When the wind blows from the west, calling you to more introspection, to a willingness to make final decisions, to let go of attachments and ego desires. When the wind blows from the north, moving to bring you wisdom and strength. When the wind blows from the east, carrying clarity of vision and purpose. Whatever way the wind is blowing for you, the message, which the wind whispers or shouts, is a challenge. It may take courage at first to turn and face the wind, but you will find that moving towards it and receiving its lessons. The invitation. When the spirit of the wind comes calling, it's a sign of change. Perhaps you need to change your mind about something. Perhaps an old way of doing things has become automatic, and now you've gained greater clarity and you make a new choice. Regardless of what the change is, you can expect to be understood and to have a clear communication with others at that time. Ideas are solid, and the shift that is being called for is in the highest good of all. So that was our Wind card. And now I'm going to read the second one, which is Vision Quest, which I think is a really great one for the month of December 2023. I'm going to hold the card up again. It is a beautiful card. It is a really, really beautiful card. The essence. In the Vision Quest, you face your fear, embrace your mortality, and meet face to face with spirit. When you feel stagnant, a Vision Quest brings our lives into perspective. We realize our flaws, our potential, and the opportunities life is now offering us. We remain on a Vision Quest until we find the key to open a new door or write a new chapter in our lives. The invitation. Find clarity by spending time alone in nature. If you live in a city, go for walks in the park. If you live in the country, make sure that you spend some time outside in contemplation. Get off the couch, get away from your desk, go outside. Spirit helps those who help themselves. And so set your intention and ask nature for a guiding vision in your life. The medicine. Spirit has been trying to contact you, but received no answer. You are too busy with your life, and there is too much noise inside your head. Do not miss the call again. Make room for quiet time in the evening. Allow yourself to become bored for a long while, and you'll be able to hear the important messages trying to get through. So that is a little bit of what we can expect here in the month of December 2023. I hope that these messages resonated, and we really appreciate you being here with us at Rose Quartz Mediumship for our monthly tarot message.